The first thing you need to know about betrayal is that it smells like cheap perfume and tastes like lies served cold on a Tuesday morning. I'm Derrick Mallon, 39 years old, warehouse supervisor at Midwest Distribution, and as of 3 weeks ago, the proud owner of a cheating wife and a front row seat to the greatest shit show of my adult life. Before we dive deeper into this story, I have one small request. Please subscribe, drop a like, comment, and hit that hype button to boost this channel so more people can discover these incredible Reddit stories. My name's on the door of a concrete box filled with forklifts and 40,000 square feet of other people's problems. But today, I'm dealing with my own. The coffee in my thermos tastes like motor oil, and Chuck Brennan is telling me about his weekend fishing trip while I pretend to give a damn about his 12-inch bass. You listening, Derrick? Chuck waves a greasy hand in front of my face. I said the fish was practically jumping into the boat. Yeah, Chuck. Magical fish. Got it. I'm watching Taryn's car pull into the employee lot through the office window. She works in sales coordination for a medical supply company across town, but lately she's been showing up here more often, claiming she wants to surprise me with lunch. The surprises stopped being pleasant about 6 months ago. Derrick Mallon used to be the kind of woman who'd wear my old flannel shirts on Sunday mornings and laugh at my jokes about inventory management being like marriage. If you don't keep track of what's yours, something's bound to go missing. Now she shows up in designer jeans that cost more than my weekly paycheck, reeking of perfume I never bought her, checking her phone every 30 seconds like she's expecting a call from the president. Your wife's here again, Priya Singh announces from her desk near the loading dock. Priya knows everything that happens within a 50-mile radius before it actually happens. She's our unofficial intelligence network, and right now she's giving me a look that says she knows something I don't. Yeah, I see her. I watch Taryn walk toward the office, her hips swaying in a way that used to drive me crazy. Now it just makes me tired. Probably wants to discuss our vacation plans. Chuck snorts. You two still going to that resort in Florida? That's the plan. The lie comes easy. Taryn booked the trip 3 months ago, back when she was still pretending we had a marriage worth saving. Now I'm pretty sure the only thing she's planning is how to spend my money while screwing someone else. Taryn pushes through the office door, and I catch a whiff of her new signature scent, something expensive and desperate. Hey, baby, she says, but she's looking at her phone, not me. Just wanted to let you know I'm having dinner with the girls tonight. Lexi's going through another divorce crisis. Lexi Hartman has been going through the same divorce crisis for 2 years. It's become her full-time hobby, right after enabling my wife's midlife crisis and teaching her creative ways to avoid her husband. Which girls? I ask, because I'm a glutton for punishment. Just Lexi and Simone. You know how it is. Taryn finally looks up from her phone, and I see something flicker across her face. Guilt, maybe, or just annoyance that I'm asking questions. We'll probably be out late. Don't wait up. Don't wait up, like I'm some kind of worried parent instead of her husband of 12 years. Sure thing, I say. Have fun with the girls. After she leaves, Chuck shakes his head. Man, I don't know how you do it. My wife tells me she's going out with the girls. I know exactly where she'll be, at her sister's house, drinking wine and complaining about me. At least I know where the enemy is. The enemy. That's an interesting way to put it. Priya clears her throat. Derrick, you got a minute? There's something about the Henderson shipment I need to discuss. I follow her to the back office where she pretends to shuffle through invoices while Chuck goes back to his forklift. Okay, I say. What's really going on? Your wife's been asking questions about your schedule, Priya says quietly. Last week she called and wanted to know what time you usually leave on Thursdays. Said she was planning a surprise. What kind of questions? When you work late, when you take lunch, that sort of thing. And Derrick? Priya lowers her voice even more. My cousin Ravi works security at the Marriott downtown. He's seen your wife there, multiple times. Always with the same guy. the coffee in my stomach turns to acid. What guy? Tall, dark hair, drives a red Camaro. Looks like he spends more time at the gym than at work. Ravi says they've been meeting there for about 2 months. 2 months. Right around the time Taryn started her girls' nights and began treating me like a roommate she barely tolerated. You sure about this? Priya nods. Ravi's good people. He wouldn't make something like this up. I thank her and walk back to my office, where I spend the rest of the day staring at spreadsheets and thinking about red Camaros. By 5 o'clock, I've made a decision that's probably going to change everything. That evening, I'm sitting in my truck outside the Marriott when Taryn's Honda pulls into the parking lot. She's wearing the black dress I bought her for our anniversary last year, the one she claimed was too fancy for dinner with me. She walks toward the hotel entrance with the confidence of a woman who thinks she's gotten away with something. 10 minutes later, a red Camaro pulls up. The driver is exactly what Priya described: tall, dark-haired, and built like he bench presses small cars for fun. He's also familiar. It takes me a moment to place him, but when I do, the betrayal hits me like a freight train. Colt Rayner, Taryn's ex-boyfriend from college. The same Colt Rayner who used to call our house drunk at 2 a.m. during the first year of our marriage. The same Colt Rayner who Taryn claimed was ancient history and not worth worrying about. I watch them meet in the parking lot, watch her laugh at something he says, watch him put his hand on the small of her back as they walk into the hotel together. They look comfortable, practiced, like they've done this before. A lot. I sit in my truck for another hour, taking pictures with my phone and thinking about the last 6 months of my marriage, the late nights at work conferences, the new lingerie I found in her drawer, tags still attached, the way she flinches when I touch her, like my hands are contaminated. When they finally come out of the hotel, Taryn's hair is messed up and Colt's shirt is wrinkled. They kiss goodbye like teenagers, all hands and desperate promises, before getting into their separate cars. I follow Taryn home, staying far enough back that she won't notice me in her rearview mirror. She beats me home by 10 minutes, which gives her time to shower and change into her pajamas. When I walk through the front door, she's on the couch watching Netflix, looking like the picture of innocent domesticity. "Hey, baby," she says, without looking up from the TV. "How was work?" "Same old shit," I reply, studying her face for any sign of guilt. There's nothing. She's gotten good at this. "How was dinner with the girls?" "Oh, you know how it is. Lexi's still crying about Brad, and Simone's dating some new guy who sounds like a complete loser. I'm exhausted." She stretches and yawns, a perfect performance of a tired wife who's been listening to her friend's problems all evening. "I bet you are," I say. That night, lying in bed next to my cheating wife, I stare at the ceiling and plan my revenge. Because here's the thing about betrayal. It doesn't just hurt, it clarifies. It strips away all the bullshit and shows you exactly who people really are. And what I see, lying there in the dark, is that Taryn thinks I'm weak. She thinks I'm the kind of man who'll just roll over and accept it, who'll pretend not to notice while she reopens old chapters. She's about to learn how wrong she is. The beauty of working in logistics is that you learn to think 3 steps ahead. Every shipment, every delivery, every goddamn pallet of medical supplies teaches you that preparation beats reaction every single time. So when I wake up the next morning and watch my wife of 12 years brush her teeth like she didn't spend yesterday evening getting railed by her ex-boyfriend in a downtown hotel, I don't lose my shit. I plan. Step 1, information gathering. I wait until Taryn leaves for work. Then I boot up our shared laptop and start digging. Our phone plan includes location sharing, something we set up years ago for safety reasons, and it tells a story more interesting than anything on Netflix. For the past 2 months, Taryn's phone has been pinging at the Marriott every Tuesday and Thursday evening, right around the time she claimed to be having dinner with Lexi and Simone. But here's where it gets really good. I cross-reference those dates with our credit card statements. No restaurant charges, no bar tabs, nothing that would indicate dinner with girlfriends. What I do find are charges for new lingerie, expensive perfume, and a Brazilian wax appointment that she sure as hell didn't get for my benefit. Step 2. Reconnaissance. I call in a favor with Danny Morrison, who works security at Taryn's office building. Danny and I went to high school together, back when we both thought we'd amount to something more than middle-aged guys with bad backs and worse marriages. Turns out Danny's marriage is solid, which makes him the perfect person to help me document the spectacular failure of mine. "You sure you want to know this stuff?" Danny asks when I explain the situation. "Sometimes ignorance is bliss, man." "Ignorance is what got me here in the first place," I tell him. "I need to know exactly what I'm dealing with." Danny's silence stretches long enough that I think the call dropped. Finally, he sighs. "Your wife's been leaving work early, like 2 hours early, 3 days a week. And she's been getting visits from some guy in a red Camaro. He picks her up for lunch, but they don't come back for 2 hours. 2 hours. That's not lunch, that's a matinee performance. Step 3. Strategic positioning. I spend my lunch break at the Verizon store, upgrading my phone plan to include more data and unlimited cloud storage. Then I stop by Best Buy and purchase a small digital camera with a telephoto lens. The teenage clerk who rings me up assumes I'm getting into wildlife photography. In a way, he's not wrong. That afternoon, I'm back at my desk when Priya approaches with a stack of invoices and a concerned expression. "You okay, Derrick? You look like you haven't slept." "Just working through some logistics problems," I tell her. "Hey, you still talk to your cousin at the Marriott?" "Ravi? Sure. Why?" "Think he'd be willing to provide some additional details about what he's been seeing? I'd make it worth his time." Priya studies my face for a long moment. "How worth his time?" $200 worth. "Jesus, Derrick. You're really going to do this?" "I'm really going to do this." By Thursday evening, I have everything I need. Ravi provides me with dates, times, and room numbers. Danny gives me a detailed breakdown of Taryn's work schedule and her mysterious disappearances. My new camera captures high-resolution images of my wife and Colt Rayner walking into the Marriott like they own the place. But the real jackpot comes from Taryn's phone. See, my wife thinks she's tech-savvy because she can post filtered selfies on Instagram, but she doesn't understand that our shared iCloud account means I can access her text messages from any device, and holy shit, are those messages illuminating. Colt. "Can't wait to see you tomorrow. I've been thinking about Tuesday all week." Taryn. "Same here. I told Derrick I'm working late again. He's so clueless." Colt. "Poor guy. Maybe we should feel bad about this." Taryn. "Why? He's boring as hell and hasn't touched me in months. This is his fault for letting himself go." Letting myself go. I look down at my work clothes, clean jeans, company polo shirt, steel-toed boots that have seen better days but still do their job. I'm not a male model, but I'm not exactly Jabba the Hutt either. I work 50 hours a week, pay the mortgage on time, and haven't forgotten her birthday once in 12 years. But apparently, that's not enough for Taryn anymore. The messages get worse. Taryn. "I think I'm going to ask for a divorce soon. I can't keep pretending." Colt. "What about money? You said he makes decent cash at that warehouse." Taryn. "I'll get half of everything. Maybe more if I play it right. He's too nice to fight me on it." Too nice. There's that word again. In Taryn's world, nice means weak, and weak means exploitable. Time to show her how wrong she is. Step 4. Preparation for total warfare. I start by opening a new checking account at a different bank, one that Taryn doesn't know about. I redirect my direct deposit to the new account and transfer our savings, money I earned, money I saved, money that's about to become very important in the coming weeks. Next, I cancel our vacation to Florida. The resort is surprisingly understanding when I explain that there's been a family emergency. They refund most of our deposit, which goes straight into my new account. Then I call Jenna Walsh. Jenna and I dated for 3 years before I met Taryn. She's smart, funny, successful in real estate, and we ended things on good terms when she took a job in Chicago. She moved back to town 6 months ago, and we've exchanged a few friendly text messages, the kind of casual communication that drove Taryn crazy with jealousy. "Derrick Mallon," Jenna says when she answers the phone. "This is a surprise. How's married life treating you?" "Like a kick in the teeth," I tell her. "You free for dinner this weekend? I could use some friendly conversation." "Uh-oh, that doesn't sound good. Everything okay?" "Not really, but it's about to get interesting." Jenna laughs, and the sound brings back memories of when my life was simpler and my wife actually liked me. "Interesting how?" "Let's just say I'm about to become single again, and I want to do it right." We make plans for Saturday night. Dinner at the nicest restaurant in town, the kind of place Taryn always claimed was too expensive for our budget. I book a table for two and make sure to use the credit card that's still linked to our joint account. Step 5. The opening move. Friday morning, I'm drinking coffee in our kitchen when Taryn stumbles downstairs in her robe, already checking her phone for messages from Colt. "Morning," I say without looking up from my newspaper. "Morning," she replies, distracted. "I'm going out with the girls tomorrow night. Lexi's birthday dinner." Lexi's birthday was 3 months ago. I know because I was there. "That's nice," I say. "I'm going out too, actually. Dinner with an old friend." Taryn looks up from her phone for the first time. "What old friend?" "Jenna Walsh. Remember her? We're catching up over dinner at Chez Laurent." Chez Laurent is the most expensive restaurant in town, and Taryn knows it. I watch her face process this information. Her husband, who she thinks is boring and predictable, having dinner with his attractive ex-girlfriend at a restaurant she's always wanted to try. "That's nice," she says, but her voice has an edge to it. "Just dinner?" "Just dinner," I confirm. "Unless it turns into something more. You never know how these things go." The look on Taryn's face is worth every penny I'm about to spend on dinner. For the first time in months, I have her complete attention. "Derrick, we should talk." "About what?" I fold my newspaper and stand up. "You're busy with your girls' nights. I'm busy with work. We're both adults living our own lives. Seems like we're communicating just fine." I kiss her forehead before leaving for work, the same perfunctory gesture she's been giving me for months. But now it feels different. Now it feels like a declaration of war. Saturday night arrives like Christmas morning for a kid who's been planning revenge all year. I'm standing in front of my bedroom mirror, adjusting the tie I haven't worn since our last anniversary dinner, when Taryn appears in the doorway. She's dressed for her fake girls' night in a red dress that probably cost more than my monthly truck payment. "You look nice," she says, and there's something in her voice I haven't heard in months. Uncertainty. "Thanks. So do you." I turn to face her, and for a moment we look like the married couple we used to be. "Have fun with Lexi tonight." "Derrick, about dinner with your friend." "Jenna. Her name is Jenna. And it's just dinner, Taryn. Like your girls' nights are just dinner." She flinches at that, and I know she's wondering how much I actually know. Good. Let her wonder. Chez Laurent is everything Taryn always said it would be. Dim lighting, expensive wine, and waiters who act like they're doing you a favor by taking your order. Jenna arrives 10 minutes after me, and she looks incredible. Not just attractive, but confident and successful in a way that makes every man in the restaurant take notice. "Jesus, Derrick," she says as the waiter seats her. "You look like hell." "Thanks. That's exactly what every man wants to hear." "I'm serious. What's going on? Your text messages have been cryptic as hell, and now you're taking me to dinner at the most expensive place in town. Either you won the lottery or your marriage is imploding." "Option B," I tell her, and then I explain everything. The hotel meetings, the text messages, the months of lies and manipulation. Jenna listens without interrupting, her expression growing darker with each detail. That snake, she says when I finish. I never liked her, you know. Even back when you two first got together, something about her seemed off. You never said anything. You were happy, or I thought you were happy, and it wasn't my place to interfere. Jenna takes a sip of her wine. So, what's the plan? Please tell me you have a plan. I pull out my phone and show her the photos I took outside the Marriott. I'm going to destroy them. Both of them. Socially, financially, emotionally. I want them to understand exactly what they threw away. And you want me to help? I want you to be my alibi, and maybe, if things go well, something more. Jenna smiles, and it's the kind of smile that could start wars. I'm in. We spend the next 2 hours planning my wife's social destruction over a meal that costs more than most people spend on groceries in a month. I pay with our joint credit card and make sure to tip generously. By the time we leave the restaurant, I'm feeling better than I have in months. So, what's next? Jenna asks as we stand outside the restaurant. Phase 2, I tell her. Want to see something funny? I pull out my phone and open Instagram. With a few taps, I post a photo of Jenna and me at our table, wine glasses raised in a toast. The caption reads, "Reconnecting with old friends. Some people are worth the wait. New beginnings, Chez Laurent, life is good." I tag Taryn in the photo, along with several of our mutual friends. That's evil, Jenna says, but she's laughing. That's just the appetizer. My phone starts buzzing within minutes. Text messages from friends, comments on the photo, and 3 missed calls from Taryn. I ignore them all. She's calling, Jenna observes. Let her call. She's probably at the Marriott right now, trying to explain to Colt why her boring husband is suddenly having dinner with his beautiful ex-girlfriend. We drive to a bar downtown, where I buy Jenna drinks, and we reminisce about the years before my life became a cautionary tale about trusting the wrong person. Around midnight, I post another photo, Jenna and me at the bar looking comfortable and happy together. This time, I don't tag Taryn. I don't need to. I know she's checking my social media obsessively by now, wondering what the hell is happening to her predictable, boring husband. My phone buzzes with a text from Taryn. We need to talk, now. I show the message to Jenna, who rolls her eyes. What are you going to tell her? Nothing. I'm going to let her imagination do the work for me. Sunday morning, I wake up in my own bed, alone, to 17 missed calls from Taryn and a series of increasingly frantic text messages. Where are you? Derrick, please call me. We need to talk about last night. I know you're angry about something, but we can work this out. Please come home. The last message was sent at 4:17 a.m., which means Taryn spent most of the night awake and panicking. Good. I'm drinking coffee in the kitchen when she finally comes home, still wearing her red dress from the night before. Her makeup is smeared, her hair is a mess, and she looks like she's been crying. Where were you? She demands. Out, I reply without looking up from my newspaper. Out where? You didn't come home last night. Neither did you. That stops her cold. For a moment, we stare at each other across our kitchen, and I can see her trying to figure out how much I know and how much I'm guessing. I was at Lexi's, she says finally. We had too much to drink, so I crashed on her couch. How thoughtful of her to let you borrow her red dress for the evening. Taryn looks down at her outfit, realizing she's been caught in another lie. I changed clothes at her place. Of course you did. I fold my newspaper and stand up. I'm going to take a shower. We'll talk later. Derrick, wait. But I'm already walking upstairs, leaving her standing in our kitchen with her lies and her guilt and the growing realization that her boring, predictable husband might not be as stupid as she thought. Phase 2 is about to begin, and it's going to be beautiful. Monday morning at the warehouse, Priya approaches me with a concerned expression and a cup of coffee that smells like it could strip paint. So, she says, settling into the chair across from my desk, interesting weekend? Very interesting. I show her the Instagram photos from Saturday night. Meet Jenna Walsh. We're reconnecting. Priya whistles low. She's gorgeous. Your wife see these? Oh, she saw them. She also spent all night calling and texting trying to figure out where I was. Where were you? Hotel room downtown. Figured I needed some space to think about my marriage. It's not technically a lie. I did get a hotel room, and I did think about my marriage. I just didn't mention that Jenna was in the room next door, or that we spent most of the night planning Taryn's complete social destruction. You're really going through with this? Priya asks. I'm really going through with this. In fact, I need another favor. What kind of favor? I pull out my phone and show her the screenshots of Taryn's text messages with Colt. I need you to accidentally send these to Maya Rayner. Maya Rayner is Colt's wife, and according to my research, she's a paralegal at one of the biggest law firms in town. She's also, from what I can tell through social media stalking, completely unaware that her husband is screwing my wife in downtown hotel rooms. Jesus, Derrick, this is nuclear. Good. I want it to be nuclear. Priya studies the messages for a long moment. You sure about this? Once I send these, there's no going back. There was no going back the moment my wife decided to sleep with her ex-boyfriend. Now we're just deciding who gets hurt in the explosion. Priya nods slowly. Give me Maya's number. 20 minutes later, Maya Rayner receives an anonymous text message containing screenshots of her husband's affair, along with photos of him entering and leaving the Marriott with my wife. The message includes a simple note. Thought you should know what your husband does on Tuesday and Thursday evenings. By lunchtime, my phone is buzzing with updates from Ravi at the Marriott. Dude, he texts. Some woman just showed up looking for the guy with the red Camaro. She's got a lawyer with her and she looks pissed as hell. Phase 2 is officially underway. Tuesday morning brings the kind of chaos that makes my warehouse job look peaceful by comparison. I'm barely through my first cup of coffee when Chuck Brennan bursts into my office with the expression of a man who's just witnessed a spectacular car crash. Derrick, you gotta see this shit, he says, shoving his phone in my face. It's all over Facebook. The video is shaky and clearly shot on someone's phone, but the audio is crystal clear. Maya Rayner, and I recognize her from her LinkedIn profile, is standing in the parking lot of Colt's gym, holding what appears to be a legal document and speaking in the kind of voice that could cut glass. This is a restraining order, you cheating piece of shit, she's saying to someone off camera. Stay away from me, stay away from our house, and stay the hell away from my bank accounts. The camera pans to show Colt Rayner in his workout clothes, looking like he'd rather be anywhere else on earth. He's trying to speak, but Maya cuts him off. 12 years of marriage, and this is what I get? Hotel receipts and text messages about how boring I am? She waves a stack of papers. My screenshots, I realize with satisfaction. You want to know what's boring, Colt? Boring is having to explain to my law firm why my husband is sleeping with some warehouse supervisor's wife in cheap hotel rooms. The crowd at the gym has started recording with their phones. This isn't just a private confrontation anymore. It's a public execution, and it's being broadcast live to social media. Maya, please, Colt starts to say. Please what? Please forgive you? Please pretend this didn't happen? Maya's voice rises to a pitch that could shatter windows. You threw away our marriage for Derrick Mallon, a woman who's apparently too cheap to get her own hotel room. The video cuts off there, but Chuck is already pulling up another one. There's more, he says gleefully. This one's from inside the gym. The second video shows Colt trying to escape through the gym's back entrance while Maya follows him, still shouting. Other gym members are recording everything, and I can see at least 3 different angles of Colt's humiliation being uploaded to various social media platforms. Holy shit, I say, and I genuinely mean it. I expected Maya to confront Colt privately, maybe file for divorce quietly. I didn't expect her to turn his workout routine into a public spectacle. It gets better, Chuck says. Check out the comments. The Facebook post has over 200 comments already, and they're brutal. People are sharing the video, tagging their friends, and providing their own commentary on Colt's infidelity. Someone has already created a meme using a screenshot of Colt's terrified face with the caption, "When you realize your side piece isn't worth losing half your assets." My phone buzzes with a text from Jenna. "Did you see the gym video? Maya Rayner is my new hero." I'm typing a response when Priya appears in my office doorway. "Your wife's here," she says quietly, "and she looks like she's been hit by a truck." Taryn walks into my office wearing yesterday's clothes and the expression of someone who's just watched their entire world collapse. Her eyes are red from crying, her hair is unwashed, and she's clutching her phone like it's the only thing keeping her upright. "We need to talk," she says without preamble. "I'm at work," I reply. "We can talk at home." "No, we need to talk now. About the photos, about Maya Rayner, about what you think you know." Chuck and Priya suddenly find reasons to be elsewhere, leaving us alone in my office. Taryn closes the door and turns to face me with the kind of desperate expression I haven't seen since her father passed away 5 years ago. "How long have you known?" she asks. "Known what?" "Don't play games with me, Derrick. How long have you known about Colt?" I lean back in my chair and study my wife's face. 2 weeks ago, I would have done anything to avoid this conversation. Now, I'm enjoying every second of it. "I've suspected for a while," I tell her, "but I've had proof for about a week." "Proof?" I pull out my phone and show her one of the photos I took outside the Marriott. Taryn's face goes white as she recognizes herself and Colt walking hand in hand toward the hotel entrance. "Jesus," she whispers. "That's just one of many," I continue. "I also have your text messages, credit card records, and witness statements from hotel staff. Oh, and apparently Maya Rayner has everything too, which explains why your boyfriend's getting divorced in the most public way possible." Taryn sinks into the chair across from my desk, like all the air has gone out of her. "Derrick, I can explain." "Explain what? That you've been sleeping with your ex-boyfriend for 2 months? That you've been lying to me about girls' nights and work conferences? That you've been planning to divorce me and take half my money?" I lean forward. "Which part needs explaining, Taryn? You read my messages? Our shared iCloud account. Technology is amazing, isn't it?" Taryn starts crying then, the kind of ugly, desperate tears that might have moved me a week ago. Now, they just confirm that she's finally understanding the magnitude of what she's lost. "I never meant for this to happen," she sobs. It just happened. Colt reached out on Facebook, we started talking, and one thing led to another." "One thing led to another," I repeat. "Like accidentally falling into bed with him twice a week for 2 months? It wasn't supposed to go this far. I was going to end it." "When? Before or after you divorced me and took half my assets?" Taryn looks up sharply. "You saw those messages too?" "I saw everything, Taryn. Every lie, every plan, every cruel comment about how boring and clueless I am." I stand up and walk around my desk until I'm standing directly in front of her. "You want to know what's boring? Boring is being married to someone who thinks so little of you that she can't even be bothered to hide her affair properly. Derrick, please. We can work this out. We can go to counseling. We can't do anything," I interrupt. "You made your choice when you decided to sleep with Colt Rayner. Now you get to live with the consequences." My phone buzzes with another text from Jenna. "Lunch today? I have updates on the Maya situation." I show the message to Taryn, who reads it and starts crying harder. "You're sleeping with her, aren't you?" she asks. "That's really none of your business anymore. Derrick, please. I know I messed up, but we can fix this. I'll end things with Colt. I'll do whatever you want." "What I want," I say slowly, "is for you to understand that actions have consequences. You wanted excitement, you wanted passion, you wanted someone who wasn't boring old Derrick. Well, congratulations. You got exactly what you wanted." I walk back to my desk and sit down. "Now get out of my office. I have work to do. Taryn sits there for another moment, looking like she wants to say something else. Finally, she stands up and walks toward the door. This isn't over, she says quietly. Yes, it is. You just don't know it yet. After she leaves, I text Jenna back. Lunch sounds perfect. I have updates too. We meet at a restaurant across town where Jenna fills me in on the latest developments in the Colt and Maya saga. Maya's not just filing for divorce, Jenna explains over her salad. She's going scorched earth. She froze their joint accounts, filed a restraining order, and apparently she's friends with half the lawyers in town. Colt's going to be lucky if he gets to keep his gym membership. Good for her. It gets better. Maya works for Henderson, Walsh and Associates. They handle a lot of the major businesses in town. She's been making some calls about Taryn's company, asking questions about their ethics policies regarding employee conduct. I pause with my fork halfway to my mouth. Employee conduct? Apparently, having an affair with a married man while lying to your own husband creates some liability issues for employers. Something about trustworthiness and character. Jenna grins. Maya's very thorough. Jesus, I didn't expect collateral damage. You started a war, Derrick. Wars have casualties. That afternoon, I get a call from Danny Morrison at Taryn's office building. Your wife just had a meeting with HR, he tells me. Lasted about an hour, and she came out looking like she'd been hit by a truck. Word is, they're investigating some kind of conduct issue. What kind of conduct issue? The kind that involves lying to your spouse and having affairs with married men. Apparently, someone provided HR with documentation of her activities. Maya Rayner is definitely thorough. By the end of the week, the fallout is spectacular. Colt's gym membership has been revoked after other members complained about the drama he brought to their workout space. Taryn's been placed on administrative leave pending an investigation into her conduct. And the video of Maya's parking lot confrontation has been viewed over 50,000 times on various social media platforms. But the best part comes on Friday evening, when I'm having dinner with Jenna at a quiet restaurant downtown. My phone buzzes with a text from an unknown number. This is Maya Rayner. I believe we have something in common. Would you like to meet for coffee tomorrow? I have some information you might find interesting. I show the message to Jenna, who raises her eyebrows. This should be interesting, she says. Interesting doesn't begin to cover what Maya Rayner has to tell me. Saturday morning finds me sitting across from Maya Rayner in a coffee shop downtown, studying the woman who's managed to destroy my wife's boyfriend more thoroughly in 1 week than I could have managed in a month. She's smaller than she appeared in the gym videos, but there's something in her eyes that suggests crossing her would be a serious mistake. Thank you for meeting me, she says, sliding a manila folder across the table. I thought you should see what your wife and my soon-to-be ex-husband have been planning. I open the folder and immediately understand why Maya looks like she wants to burn the world down. Inside are printouts of text messages, emails, and what appears to be a draft of some kind of legal document. Keep reading, Maya says grimly. The text messages are between Taryn and Colt, but they're not the romantic bullshit I've been seeing. These are strategic discussions about money, assets, and timing. Colt. Maya's got the house, but she doesn't know about the investment account. If we time this right, I can clean it out before she files. Taryn. Derrick's got about $40,000 in savings. He's too trusting to hide it from me, plus his pension from the warehouse. Colt. So we both file for divorce at the same time, grab what we can, and start fresh together? Taryn. Exactly. They'll never see it coming. My hands are shaking by the time I finish reading. This wasn't just an affair. It was a coordinated financial attack designed to destroy both marriages and steal our assets. There's more, Maya says quietly. The legal document is a draft agreement between Taryn and Colt, outlining how they plan to divide the money they steal from us. They've calculated the value of both marriages down to the last dollar, including my pension, Maya's law firm salary, and the equity in both our homes. When were they planning to do this? I ask. Next month. Colt was going to empty our investment accounts and file for divorce on the same day Taryn planned to serve you papers. They figured by the time we realized what happened, they'd be long gone with our money. I lean back in my chair, trying to process the sheer audacity of their plan. How did you get all this? Maya smiles, and it's not a pleasant expression. Colt's not as smart as he thinks he is. He was using our shared laptop to plan his exit strategy. Everything's been backing up to our cloud storage for weeks. Jesus. It gets worse. Look at the last page. The final document in the folder is a rental agreement for a condo in Florida, signed by both Taryn and Colt. They've already put down a deposit and planned their new life together, funded by the money they planned to steal from us. They were going to disappear, I say, with our money, our assets, and apparently no guilt whatsoever about destroying 2 marriages to do it. Maya takes a sip of her coffee. I've been married to Colt for 12 years. I thought I knew him. Turns out, I was married to a stranger who was planning to rob me blind. We sit in silence for a moment, both of us processing the magnitude of the betrayal. Finally, Maya speaks again. I have a proposition for you. I'm listening. I want to destroy them, not just divorce them, not just embarrass them. I want to completely ruin their lives the same way they plan to ruin ours. She leans forward. And I think you want the same thing. What did you have in mind? Maya opens her briefcase and pulls out another folder. I'm a paralegal, remember? I know how to make people's lives very difficult through completely legal means, and I have friends in useful places. The plan she outlines is beautiful in its simplicity and devastating in its scope. We're going to give Taryn and Colt exactly what they wanted, a chance to be together, but we're going to make sure they have nothing left when they get there. The beauty of it, Maya explains, is that we're not doing anything illegal. We're just being very strategic about timing and information sharing. What do you need from me? Access to your joint accounts and a willingness to move fast. Once we start this, there's no going back. I think about the text messages, the hotel meetings, the months of lies and manipulation. I think about Taryn's plan to steal my pension and disappear to Florida with her boyfriend. Most of all, I think about how stupid they must think we are. I'm in, I tell Maya. What's the first step? We beat them at their own game. Tomorrow morning, you're going to empty your joint accounts and file for divorce. I'm going to do the same thing, but we're not going to stop there. Maya's plan unfolds over the next hour, and by the time she's finished explaining it, I'm convinced that Colt and Taryn have seriously underestimated the wrong people. Sunday morning, I'm standing in the lobby of my bank when they open, armed with account numbers and a newfound appreciation for the phrase legally protected assets. By noon, I've moved every penny from our joint accounts into my new individual account and filed a motion to freeze any remaining shared assets. Maya is doing the same thing across town, but her approach is more sophisticated. As a paralegal, she knows exactly which legal maneuvers will cause the most damage to Colt's financial situation. He's going to wake up tomorrow morning to discover that his credit cards have been canceled, his access to our joint accounts has been revoked, and his car, which is in my name, has been reported stolen, she explains when she calls to update me. Reported stolen? I'm removing him from the insurance policy and revoking his permission to drive it. Technically, if he drives the car after that, it's theft. You're scary as hell, I tell her. I'm just getting started. Monday morning brings the chaos we've been planning. I'm at work, pretending to review inventory reports, when Chuck bursts into my office with his phone. Dude, you gotta see this, he says, pulling up a live stream on Facebook. Your wife's boyfriend is getting arrested. The video shows Colt being handcuffed outside his gym, still wearing his workout clothes. The police are explaining something about unauthorized use of a motor vehicle, while Colt protests his innocence. That's his wife's car, someone in the comments explains. She reported it stolen this morning. But he's been driving it for years, someone else replies. Not anymore, apparently. I watch Colt get loaded into the back of a police car while other gym members record everything on their phones. It's the second time in 2 weeks that his workout routine has been interrupted by public humiliation. My phone buzzes with a text from Maya. Phase 1 complete. How's Taryn handling the financial surprise? I don't have to wait long to find out. Taryn calls me around noon, and she's crying so hard I can barely understand what she's saying. Derrick, what did you do? I can't access our accounts, my credit cards aren't working, and HR is saying I might be terminated. I protected my assets, I tell her calmly. Something you should have thought about before planning to steal them. What are you talking about? I'm talking about your plan to clean out our accounts and disappear to Florida with Colt. I'm talking about the rental agreement you signed and the timeline you created for robbing me blind. The silence on the other end of the phone stretches so long I think the call dropped. How do you know about Florida? She finally whispers. Maya Rayner is very thorough. She shared your entire plan with me, including the part where you calculated the exact value of our marriage down to my pension benefits. Derrick, I can explain. No, you can't. There's no explanation for planning to destroy someone's life for money. There's no excuse for what you were going to do to me. Please, I need access to our accounts. I can't even buy groceries. You should have thought about groceries before you decided to sleep your way through your past and plan my financial destruction. I hang up on her. Tuesday brings even better news. Maya calls to inform me that Colt spent the night in jail because he couldn't make bail. His accounts are frozen and his credit cards are canceled. He called me from jail, begging me to help him, Maya says, and I can hear the satisfaction in her voice. I told him he should call Taryn, since they're such a good team. Did he? Oh, yes. And apparently Taryn can't help him because she's dealing with her own financial crisis. It's almost like their plan backfired completely. Wednesday morning, I'm drinking coffee in my office when Priya knocks on my door. Your wife's here again, she says. But this time she brought backup. Taryn walks into my office, followed by Lexi and Simone, her enabler friends who've been supporting her affair for months. They look like they're here for an intervention, which would be hilarious if it weren't so pathetic. Derrick, we need to talk, Lexi announces. Taryn's been telling us what's happening, and we think you're overreacting. Overreacting to what? My wife's affair, or her plan to rob me blind? Simone steps forward. Everyone makes mistakes. Taryn's sorry, and she wants to work things out. You're being cruel. I look at the 3 women standing in my office, my cheating wife and her 2 friends who helped her plan and execute her betrayal, and I start laughing. Cruel, I repeat. I'm being cruel? You've destroyed her life, Lexi says. She can't access your money. She's about to lose her job and Colt's in jail. Don't you think she's been punished enough? Punished? I stand up and walk around my desk until I'm facing all 3 of them. She wasn't punished. She was stopped. There's a difference. Stopped from what? Simone demands. I pull out my phone and show them the screenshots Maya gave me. The financial planning, the timeline, the rental agreement in Florida. Stopped from stealing $40,000 from me and disappearing with her boyfriend. Stopped from destroying my life to fund her new one. Stopped from committing what amounts to organized theft. The 3 women read the messages in silence, and I watched their expressions change as they realized the scope of what Taryn was planning. Jesus, Taryn, Lexi whispers. You were really going to do this? It's not what it looks like, Taryn says desperately. We were just talking, just planning hypothetically. There's nothing hypothetical about a signed rental agreement, I interrupt. There's nothing hypothetical about calculating the exact value of my pension. You weren't just having an affair, Taryn. You were planning a heist. Simone looks like she's going to be sick. Taryn, tell me you weren't really going to steal his money. It's complicated, Taryn stammers. No, it's not complicated, I say. It's theft. And the only reason you didn't succeed is because Maya Rayner is smarter than both of you combined. Lexi and Simone exchange glances, and I can see them mentally distancing themselves from their friend. Supporting someone through an affair is one thing. Supporting someone through attempted theft is something else entirely. "We should go," Lexi says quietly. "Yeah, we should," Simone agrees. They leave without another word, abandoning Taryn in my office the same way she abandoned our marriage. Poetic justice. "They'll be back," Taryn says after they're gone. "They're my friends." "No, they're not. Friends don't help you destroy your marriage and steal from your husband. They were accomplices, and now they know it." Taryn starts crying again, but these aren't the desperate tears from last week. These are the tears of someone who's finally understanding that she's completely alone. "What do you want from me?" she asks. "I want you to sign the divorce papers when they arrive. I want you to move out of my house, and I want you to disappear from my life as completely as you plan to disappear with my money." "And if I don't?" "Then Maya and I will make sure that every employer in town knows exactly what kind of person you are. We'll make sure your family knows what you plan to do to me. We'll make sure that everyone you've ever met understands that you're not just a cheater, you're a thief." Taryn leaves my office without another word, and I know I'll never see her again unless it's in divorce court. That evening, I'm having dinner with Jenna when Maya calls with the final update. "Colt made bail this morning," she tells me, "but he's got nowhere to go. I changed the locks on our house, his gym membership is revoked, and his credit is destroyed. He's been living in his car." "What about the Florida condo?" "Canceled. Turns out you need good credit and verifiable income to rent property. Colt has neither." Jenna raises her wine glass in a toast. "To Maya Rayner, the most terrifying paralegal in the state." "I'll drink to that," I agree. The final phase of our revenge is about to begin, and it's going to be spectacular. 3 weeks later, I'm working late at the warehouse when the motion sensors trigger the security lights in the back lot. It's almost midnight on a Thursday, and the place should be deserted except for me finishing up the monthly inventory reports. But the cameras showed 2 figures moving between the parked trucks, and I recognized them immediately. Taryn and Colt, together again and apparently planning something stupid. I call Maya first. "They're here," I tell her when she answers. "Both of them?" "Both of them. And they look like they're up to no good." "I'm on my way. Don't do anything until I get there." "Wouldn't dream of it." Next, I call Chuck and Priya. They've been following this saga from the beginning, and they deserve to see how it ends. Within 20 minutes, I have backup. "What do you think they want?" Chuck asks, peering through the office window at the 2 figures skulking around the loading dock. "Probably looking for something to steal," Priya suggests. "Or maybe they're planning to vandalize the place out of spite." "Either way, they're trespassing on private property," Maya says as she arrives with what appears to be a small army of friends. "And we have it all on security cameras." I watch Taryn and Colt try to force open the loading dock door, their faces clearly visible in the infrared security footage. They're not being subtle about their breaking and entering, which makes this easier for everyone involved. "Should we call the police?" Chuck asks. "Not yet," I reply. "Let's see what they're planning first." Colt manages to jimmy the lock on the side door, a skill he apparently picked up during his recent legal troubles. He and Taryn slip inside the warehouse, and I track their movement through the building using the internal security cameras. "They're heading for your office," Priya observes. "Of course they are." I watch my estranged wife and her boyfriend ransack my office, looking for something valuable or incriminating. They're not going to find either, but it's entertaining to watch them try. "Now?" Maya asks. "Now." I flip the switches that control the warehouse lighting system, flooding the entire building with bright fluorescent light. Taryn and Colt freeze like deer in headlights, literally caught in the act of rifling through my desk drawers. Then I activate the fire suppression system. The sprinklers engage with a satisfying whoosh, drenching everything in the warehouse, including the 2 intruders. Taryn screams as the cold water hits her, and Colt starts swearing creatively while trying to shield his face from the spray. "That's for the hotel bills," I announce over the warehouse intercom system, "and for planning to steal my pension." Chuck is recording everything on his phone while Priya live streams it to Facebook. Maya is taking notes for what I assume will be additional legal action, and I'm enjoying the hell out of watching my cheating wife and her boyfriend get exactly what they deserve. Taryn and Colt try to run for the exit, but the warehouse floor is slippery when wet, and neither of them is wearing appropriate footwear for industrial surfaces. Colt goes down first, sliding into a stack of empty pallets with a crash that echoes through the building. Taryn makes it 3 more steps before her high heels betray her, and she lands hard on her ass. "This is perfect," Chuck says, still recording. "It's like watching karma in real time." I turn off the sprinklers and the lights, leaving Taryn and Colt sitting in the dark, soaking wet warehouse. Then I turn on the emergency lighting system, which casts everything in an eerie red glow. "Attention, trespassers," I announce over the intercom. "You have 30 seconds to exit the building before I call the police and have you arrested for breaking and entering." "Derrick, please!" Taryn's voice echoes through the warehouse. "We just wanted to talk." "You wanted to talk, so you broke into my workplace after midnight? That's an interesting conversation strategy." Colt tries to stand up, slips again, and goes down harder this time. The sound of his impact with the concrete floor is audible even from the office. 20 seconds, I announce. They scramble toward the exit, Taryn's heels clicking frantically on the wet floor while Colt limps behind her. They look like drowned rats fleeing a sinking ship, which is exactly what they are. Maya meets them at the exit door with her phone recording and a satisfied smile. "Colt Rayner and Derrick Mallon," she says formally. "You're both being recorded trespassing on private property. This video will be submitted as evidence in our ongoing legal proceedings." "Maya, we can explain," Colt starts. "Explain what? That you broke into a warehouse to harass the man whose marriage you tried to destroy? That you committed a felony because your original plan to steal his money didn't work out?" Taryn is shivering in her wet clothes, mascara running down her face in black streaks. "This isn't over, Derrick. You can't just destroy our lives and expect us to disappear." "I didn't destroy your lives," I reply, walking out to join the group. "You destroyed your own lives when you decided to become thieves. I just documented it. We never stole anything from you. Only because we stopped you before you could." Maya holds up her phone. "But attempting to commit theft is still a crime, and breaking into this warehouse definitely is." Chuck and Priya emerge from the office, both of them grinning like they've just witnessed the best entertainment of their lives. "So," Chuck says cheerfully, "should we call the cops now?" I look at Taryn and Colt, both of them dripping wet and shivering in the parking lot. They look pathetic and desperate, which is exactly how I want them to look. "No," I say finally. "I think they've learned their lesson." "Derrick," Taryn starts. "Here's what's going to happen," I interrupt. "You're going to sign the divorce papers without contest. You're going to move out of my house by the end of the week, and you're going to disappear from my life permanently. In exchange, I won't press charges for tonight's little adventure." "And if we don't agree?" Colt asks. Maya steps forward. "Then I'll make sure every employer in the state knows that you're both criminals as well as cheaters. I'll make sure your families know what you tried to do, and I'll make sure this video of you breaking into a warehouse gets shared with every person you've ever met." Taryn and Colt exchange glances, and I can see them realizing that they're out of options. Their plan to destroy our marriages and steal our money has backfired completely, leaving them with nothing but each other and a rapidly growing collection of legal problems. "Fine," Taryn says quietly. "I'll sign the papers." "Good choice," I reply. "Now get off my property before I change my mind about calling the police." They walk toward Colt's car, the same red Camaro that used to take my wife to hotel rooms, and I watch them drive away for what I know will be the last time. "That was beautiful," Maya says as their taillights disappear. "Absolutely beautiful." "It was perfect," Chuck agrees. "Like something out of a movie." Priya is still live streaming. "We've got over 3,000 viewers watching this," she announces. "The comments are amazing." I look around at my friends, because that's what they are now, the people who helped me survive the destruction of my marriage and get my revenge on the people who tried to destroy me. Maya, who turned her legal skills into weapons of mass destruction. Chuck and Priya, who provided intelligence and moral support. And Jenna, who reminded me that I deserved better than a wife who thought I was boring and disposable. "So what happens now?" Jenna asks. "Now we celebrate," I say, "and then we move on with our lives." 6 months later, I'm sitting in my newly renovated kitchen, reading the morning paper and drinking coffee that doesn't taste like motor oil. The divorce is final, the house is mine, and my pension is safe from thieves. Taryn and Colt disappeared after the warehouse incident, and according to Maya's sources, they're living in a one-bedroom apartment across town, both of them working minimum-wage jobs and struggling to pay rent. Maya stopped by yesterday to tell me that Colt's legal troubles are far from over. Apparently, breaking into a warehouse was just the latest in a series of poor decisions that have attracted law enforcement attention. Taryn's former employer fired her after the HR investigation, and word has gotten around the local business community about her character issues. "They got exactly what they deserved," Maya said with satisfaction, "and we got exactly what we wanted, our lives back." My phone buzzes with a text from Jenna. "Dinner tonight? I'm cooking." I text back, "Absolutely. Should I bring wine?" "Always." I finish my coffee and head to work, where Chuck and Priya are waiting with the latest gossip and Priya's terrible coffee. It's a good life, not exciting, maybe not passionate, but honest and real, and built on relationships with people who actually give a damn about me. And if that makes me boring, I'm perfectly fine with that. Some people are worth the wait. Some people are worth fighting for. And some people, like my cheating ex-wife and her criminal boyfriend, are worth destroying completely when they try to destroy you first. Justice served cold, with a side of warehouse sprinklers and a garnish of public humiliation.